Good morning. Welcome to the Community for Conscious Living Weekly Live broadcast. Today is Sunday, May 16th of 2021. The Community for Conscious Living is a community dedicated to personal transformation for universal harmony, healing the planet by making inspired changes in ourselves and in our daily lives to create a sustainable environment and a peaceful world. Today's topic is looking for guidance and seeing the illuminated path forward, revealing the path, illuminating the path that will bring you your highest growth. And when we are talking about personal transformation for universal harmony, which is the mission of the Community for Conscious Living, this is exactly in line with that. This is looking at what are you being called to do? What is your guided pathway? What is your next step forward that you are being called to align with and follow on your life journey? And this is what, just think if every human being in the world were in tune with and aligned with their divine path forward. Just think what a world this might be. All of the animals, the trees, the clouds, the water, the earth, the insects, the birds, everything in nature, everything in creation is aligned with its divine pathway. It's aligned with divine will. It's aligned with its own creation as a reflection and a manifestation of an aspect of divine will on this material plane, except for the human being, because the human being agreed to incarnate with free will. And by incarnating with free will, we have choice. And we get to figure out when we are making choices that are not aligned with the divine will and the divine creation, all of nature. And we get to learn how to course correct so that we can make our choices to align with the natural world, with the divine creation, and bring things into harmony. So we human beings, through our free will, create the chaos and the disharmony, and we have a choice to learn from the mistakes that we make that are not in alignment with the natural creation and bring them back into harmony to create a sustainable environment and a peaceful world. It's our choice, but we have many, many things going on inside of us that make it pretty confusing and keep us from knowing what's what. Right? And don't we all wish we had a crystal ball that would just clearly guide us each step along the journey, and then a way to rally all of the inner voices and all the cacophony of selves to jump on the same boat or the same train and hold fast to faith and trust as we follow the illuminated pathway. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Right? So today, in today's meditation and healing circle, we're going to use a tool from the Sufi practices. We're going to call on the divine name Rashid, ar-Rashid, and we'll get to this a little bit later, but ar-Rashid is the one who illuminates the path of growth, who guides and gives direction. So we're going to work with calling in the sacred sound codes that invoke ar-Rashid and use those in our meditation to illuminate the pathway. First, let's come into our prayer and healing circle. We'll come into our circle and unite as one. and bring all of our focus and attention to be present with this meditation and healing today. We'll make intention and then we'll go into the meditation with the name ar-Rashid. So let's go ahead and come into our circle, sitting side by side, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, knee to knee, coming together as one. In the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate, we call on you. We ask you to send your essence of your pure divine light. Divine light on Noor. Noor is manifestation and embodiment of the light. And the first sound code in the name Rashid is Ra, which is that illuminating light. Okay, so let's call on the divine light right now on Noor. And just imagine, perceive in whatever way you do this divine light streaming into the center of our circle, lighting up, illuminating all of the container for our virtual meeting today, and illuminating, bringing this light in. This light is a healing and cleansing light, purifying the space that we are gathered in, that we are all facing towards. Just imagine yourself facing toward the center of the circle, and this stream of pure divine light streaming into the center of the circle, illuminating all of the energy, bringing in the vibration of pure divine light, cleansing, purifying, illuminating, bringing in the vibration of pure divine light, establishing the vibe of our circle. And bring now your senses, your sense of seeing, to meet this pure divine light and to be met by this pure divine light, and allow this pure divine light, as it meets your eyes, your organs of seeing, and travels through your eyes and into your neurological pathways, your cranial nerves, your neurological pathways that deliver information from your eyes through your sense of seeing into your brain and central nervous system. And let this pure divine light cleanse and purify your organs of seeing, your eyes, and your neurological pathways, washing and cleansing from the pathways any of the old obstructions that may keep you from wanting to see, may keep you from wanting to see a clear path forward, that might keep you from trusting the truth or what is in front of your eyes, or may have you pasting meanings onto what you see that are not relevant to the current moment. Just let all of those energies that line your pathways, let them be cleansed, let them be cleaned, let them be purified by this pure divine light, as this pure divine light meets your eyes and travels through your eyes and through your cranial nerves, through all your neurological pathways, into your brain and central nervous system, cleansing all of the energies from your pathways of seeing. Ya Noor, O divine light. Breathe that in and let it also meet your ears and your sense of hearing, and travel through your organs of hearing and your cranial nerves and neurological pathways through your brain and central nervous system, to cleanse the old perceptions and the veils that keep us from hearing clearly, the obstructions or the pictures that paint over the truth and cause us to think we're hearing something that we're not. And let those pathways be cleansed and purified so that what we hear clearly from the true meaning of what is being said in the moment. And this comes from the outer world as well as the divine guidance that comes in through the sense of seeing, through the sense of hearing, seeing signs, hearing guidance. And let this divine light illuminate the sense of smell and taste and texture. And just let all of your organs from your sensory perceptions be cleansed and purified, and let the cranial nerves that transfer the information from your senses into your brain and your central nervous system, let all of those pathways be cleansed and purified by this pure divine light. And let's go ahead and also invite this pure divine light into the third eye, that energy center, the middle and the front of the forehead, and the middle and the back as well. And let this pure divine light meet these pathways of your third eye energy centers in the front and in the back, front of your head and the back of your head as they come together and meet along your vertical core. Just let that whole pathway be met and filled with this pure divine light. And while we're here, the crown center that comes into the top of your head is your center of guidance. So let's also let that one be cleansed and purified as well. Meaning this energy center that comes through the top of your head, your crown center, letting that be cleansed. And just allowing the divine guidance to flow through your crown and into your vertical core. And letting the divine light cleanse your third eye center, as well as all of your senses, your physical senses. And breathe all of that light into your core. And as you exhale, let yourself just drop down and land in your heart. Inhale all of that light energy in through your senses and through your third eye, and through your crown, and breathe it into your core. As you exhale, drop down and land into your heart. Bring your consciousness to your heart center, and let your heart, the funnel of energy that extends from the front of your chest, let that now face toward the center of our circle. And let's come together in heart to heart. And together we call on our source in the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. We call on you. We ask you to send your essence of your unconditional love. And just imagine, perceive this unconditional love streaming into the center of our circle. And let your heart center now be met and nourished with this loving, gentle, kind energy of unconditional love, complete and total acceptance, no conditions apply, Love is love is love. Let your heart be met and filled. Just let that funnel of energy at the front of your heart space tip up slightly and receive this stream of this unconditional love streaming into the center of your heart. And with your inhale, let your breath be, your heart center be like a breathing portal, and breathe in this vibration of unconditional love in through your heart, all the way into your core of your body, that vertical core that runs from the top of your head through your face. Just let it pour in through your heart center, this unconditional love, and stream into your center, your vertical core, like pouring in through this funnel and filling up the core of your body with divine light and unconditional love. Let yourself be filled with unconditional love with each breath. Take it in deeper and deeper into your heart center. And as you exhale, just let yourself release and blow out any of the tension from your heart, from the guardedness, from the clutter. Just let all of that be released. And as you inhale, draw more and more of that water of unconditional love in deeper and deeper into your heart center, letting it pour all the way through to your core, filling you and filling you and filling you with unconditional love, love with no conditions, just pure love that loves everything within you no matter what. It is a love that loves unconditionally, gently, kindly, and powerfully. Allow yourself to accept it, to receive it, to be accepted by it, and to be held and contained and cradled and loved and supported by this divine light and unconditional love. Breathe this in to the core of your being, all the way into your central core of your body, breathing in divine light and unconditional love. And as you exhale, now drop down and land into your pelvic bowl, dropping down, landing into your hips. And again, inhale all of this divine light, unconditional love into your vertical core. Exhale, drop down and land into your pelvic bowl, landing into your hips, landing into your seat, feeling your presence on whatever is beneath you, your chair, your bed, your floor, whatever that might be. Might be that your feet are on the ground, and that's okay too. Just let yourself feel your connection to that which is beneath you. And just let your belly be present with you in this circle for this meditation, for this healing. Just invite your belly to be here, to be present, to rest into this space. And now coming together again in the center of our circle, let's call on our source. In the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate, we call on you, we ask you to send your essence of your unconditional love, ar-Rahman, the unconditional love. The unconditional love is that light of source breathed into the fluid existence that is our material manifestation on this planet Earth. Everything is born through compassion, of compassion, contained in compassion. Compassion is the original emanation from the solo God consciousness, which contains the entirety of our existence, of all of creation. And just let yourself be held and loved and contained in this ever-accepting, ever-present, timeless, eternal, divine compassion. And feel the loving acceptance, kindness, gentleness, the embrace of eternal compassion. And allow yourself to be held in this, to be filled with divine light, to be nurtured and loved by the unconditional love, to be held and contained in the eternal compassion. And while we are here, if there is any way that you are holding yourself in harsh judgment, for any of those times where you may have thought you were following guidance and it turned out to feel like a big mistake, where you might have self-judgment or regrets or any of those things, just know those are all a part of the plan too. And allow yourself to receive into those places inside yourself that are feeling the self-judgment, the self-blame, the criticism, whatever it may be. Allow yourself to receive this loving compassion. Allow yourself to receive the acceptance, the forgiveness. Allow yourself to forgive yourself. Allow yourself to be held, to be nurtured, to be cradled, to be contained, to be loved in this eternal compassion. And again, breathe this in, breathe it all the way into your vertical core. And as you exhale, just drop down and land firmly into your body. And let this divine light come into your body to infuse into your oxygen, to infuse into your blood, to be circulated throughout all of your body, to every cell of your body, to nourish every cell of your body with divine light, with unconditional love, with eternal compassion, the original life force energy that was breathed into your physical form to give you life, to give you consciousness, is rooted in these vibrations of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. Your cellular consciousness and every fiber of your being already knows these vibrations, knows their presence, knows their essence, knows their meanings. It's contained within you. As you breathe these into yourself, let this vibrations that you breathe in awaken the knowing within every cell of your being, so that every cell of your being is resonating with divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. Awaken this force from within you and let it resonate in harmony from within you. As you are breathing this in, being held and contained and loved and nurtured and cleansed by it. You've got it holding you and you've got it resonating from within you, and let yourself just fall into your body and receive all of this into your body, and let the outer meet the inner vibration of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. So the entire being, the entirety of your being, is resonating from the inner all the way through to the outer with divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. breathe, receive, and let it land. Let it land and let yourself land. Land in the being that you are of light and love and compassion. And I want to invite you from this place where you are, wherever you may be, if you have an intention or a question or something that you are seeking guidance on, the pathway, any part of the pathway of your life journey, I invite you to just imagine yourself face to face with your source and speak directly from your heart to your source, asking for the help that you seek, asking for the clarity, the guidance, direction, whatever it is that you seek. Let your heart speak directly to your source. And when I make the intention that all of our prayers and intentions are collected in the center of our circle as well. If you wish, just make that prayer, make that intention. And let it be met, let it be heard. Let the angels circle around you to support you, to help you. Take a deep breath in and exhale, drop down and land into your hips, your pelvic bowl. Receive and let it land. And our divine name, our divine attribute, our combination of sound codes for the guidance that we're working with today is ar-Rashid. Rashid, it's R-A, like the ray of light, illumination, and Sheed, S-H, like the stillness amidst the chaos, and the Eid, the Sheed, is the sound code that is representing the natural order of the natural existence, representing all of the natural existence. And I'm going to read from Neil Douglas Clark's book, The Sufi Book of Life, 99 Pathways of the Heart for the Modern Dervish. Illuminating the Path of Growth, ar-Rashid. When you are guided to this pathway, take the opportunity to feel the divine light shining straight in front of you, revealing the path of growth for you at this moment. Now, ar-Rashid is a sacred name. It is one of the divine names, one of the many attributes of source energy, one of the many emanations from the God consciousness that is contained within us and also available for us to call on, to awaken, to illuminate from within. And this is one that illuminates the outer pathway. When we call on the divine names, we're calling on our source. We're calling on the source energy. We're calling on the source energy that gives us this guidance. And when we speak in the sacred language, and we call this in the sacred language, Rashid, we are using the sound codes, the sacred sound codes. And that means the vibration produced by the sound, Rashid, resonates at the same frequency of that which it names. So the one who illuminates the path forward, the path of growth that gives guidance and direction. We are calling directly on that energy form, that vibration, when we use the sacred name. So say that out loud for yourself and just let that vibration, let it come into your field. And say it again and let it come into your body. So it's awakening the guidance from within you, and it's calling the guidance from your source, from the outer. And you can play with going back and forth between the inner and the outer. And again, letting yourself be present in your body, letting the inner meet the outer and the outer come in to meet the inner. So there is only one resonance from the inner to the outer. And back to reading from the Sufi Book of Life. The medieval Christian mystic Hildegard of Bingen once had a vision in which she saw the whole universe constantly being nourished by divine creativity. I love that line just in and of itself. The whole universe constantly being nourished by divine creativity. She called this nourishing force viriditas, which can be roughly translated from the Latin as greening power. Greening power. Even in the processes of decay and death, the universe reveals preparation for rebirth and growth. This pathway of the heart invites us to a similar vision, one that reveals our own best path of growth among the myriad possible ways. Attar tells the following story. A fool once stood in the middle of the marketplace. And in the Sufi stories, the fool is the wise fool that everybody thinks is a fool, but he's really the wise one. A fool once stood in the middle of the marketplace. Thousands of people were coming and going from one place to another. He yelled out, "It's clear to me that you all have a single heart, but many different desires. How can you get anywhere when you're going in all directions?" It's clear to me that you all have a single heart, but many different desires. How can you get anywhere when you're going in all directions? Sometimes I personally feel like that inside myself, let alone in the greater macrocosm of our planet, of humanity. I wonder if you feel like that in yourself too sometimes. In a similar vein, the first surah of the Quran, the first verse of the Quran, the opening, which is Al-Fatiha, offers the line of the prayer that says, "Ihdina siratal mustaqim," which means guide us on your straight path. It conveys the meaning. Show us the path that says, stand up, get going, do it, which resurrects us from the slumber of the drugged and leads to the consummation of heart's desire, like all the stars and galaxies in tune, in time, straight on. In order to discover this path, we need to develop a different way of healing and sensing our way through life. The Sufi practices can offer this. The 9th century Egyptian Sufi Dhul Nun talked about how to benefit from the gift of each moment by developing a more intuitive way of approaching life. Those who experience sacred unity become more humble each hour and draw ever closer to God. They see without knowledge, sight, information, observation, or description, without being either veiled or unveiled. They are not really themselves, but if they can be said to exist at all, they exist in the One. Perhaps life is calling you right now to make a choice about your next direction. You may be in a situation where new direction or greening is needed in your life. Perhaps your field feels overworked, in need of rest or compost. From where will the next growth come and how? In work with the inner self, this pathway can help your highest guidance illuminate the concerns of inner selves and put them in a wider, more natural context. Okay, so we're going to call now on the divine name of ar-Rashid. And you can say it slowly and again from the inner to the outer to the inner. Rashid. And let yourself enunciate each of the sounds, the ra, and let it vibrate inside yourself. This is the illuminating light, illuminating divine light, and let it come from inside yourself into the path in front of you, illuminating with the divine light. And from the path in front of you, coming into the inner core of your being, the inner knowing self. Ra, and then bring in Sheed, Rashid. And letting that inner knowing and that illuminating light light up the pathway that aligns you with the natural existence and that which you are being called to in this moment. Rashid. And that's R-A-S-H-I-D as in David. Rashid. 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 And remember your intention. Remember the questions on your heart. Rashid. And invite all of the consciousness from all of the fibers of your being, from every cell, to face forward toward this path of illumination that is being opened for you. Just invite all of the parts of yourself to align and face toward the same direction. And let every fiber of your being, consciousness within every cell, resonate with the frequencies of Ra. Rashid. Rashid. And let your heart receive, let your hearing receive, let your sight and your knowing receive. Rashid. Letting yourself receive the guidance and letting it be illuminated from within you so they meet. Rashid. 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 Rashid, 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 Rashid. Again, inviting all the cacophony of selves to join you in your forward direction, to open to the illumination, to the guidance, the direction of the pathway that is in front of you. Inviting all to align, to resonate, to say yes, to receive the guidance, to receive the direction, to be aligned, to be attuned, to say yes to the pathway, to say yes to the guidance, to say yes to moving forward. Rashid, 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 Rashid. And let, as we said, as the inner meets the outer, let this be written into your cellular consciousness as you receive it deeper and deeper, and align with what is in front of you. And if you feel like it could help you, you can get a pen and paper and write down. Just let yourself start writing stream of consciousness, anything that's coming through. Sometimes we get more clarity on guidance when we let it be written through us so that our minds can grasp it. When we read it back, we can get a pen and paper and just start writing stream of consciousness and let yourself write whatever is coming through, and you can read it back later after the writing finishes itself. Rashid, 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 ar-Rashid. And again, breathe it into your core. Receive, receive, receive. Let the outer meet the inner. Let the inner meet the outer. Let the emanation of this consciousness, let it illuminate your entire being, guide you, direct you, and let your heart just bow in gratitude for whatever you have received. May or may not be completely revealed in this moment. It may unfold over time. Give thanks for what is moving through, what is coming in. Thank the angels for their support. And if you need to call on them for more support, then do that too. ar-Rashid. I think I'll close this with that first surah, the first verse of the Quran, which is Al-Fatiha, the opener, which is the opener that opens the way, or appropriate. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Malik Yawm Idin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. In the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate, all praise, honor, and glory is due to you, Lord of all the worlds. Turn us to face you and only you, and call on only you for help and support. Guide us on your straight pathway, the path on those whom you have bestowed your favor, not the path who have brought down the wrath or who have gone astray, but on the straight, illuminated path forward, the path that aligns with divine will and the natural existence. Because we as human beings have free will and we get to choose. And sometimes we want to make the best choices and it gets confusing. So we call on ar-Rashid to guide us and illuminate for us the pathway that is the pathway, the next pathway for us that is aligned with the natural existence, divine will, and the creation. The creation aligned with divine will. With that, I'm going to open up for the Q&A and I'll end the recording. If you're listening to the recording, you're welcome to join us live on Sundays at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. U.S. Pacific Time. You can find information for joining our calls at joyfullylivingwellness.com, joyfullylivingwellness.com. While you're there, pick up your copy of the 10 Spiritual Principles of Our Human Existence. It's a one sheet that reminds us of the truth of who and what we are and why we're here. It comes with a 15-minute guided meditation you can use as a part of your daily practice to help you to align with this divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion, to align with the truth of what resonates at the core of your being. Divine light, unconditional love, eternal compassion, your divine life force energy. And remember to join us on Sundays live at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. U.S. Pacific Time. When you join us live, you can stay on for the Q&A after the recording. I hope to see you next week. Thank you very much.